What is going on, all you Pokemon collecting maniacs out there? This is Ryan, the PikiPikaPapa, and here we are. This is the final video in this series where we already looked at Q1 booster box performance for Sun and Moon and Sword and Shield. We've already done our Q2 projections for Sword and Shield. Here we're doing our Q2 projections for Sun and Moon, and we have learned so much. This exercise has been so enlightening and so empowering, and this is when I talk about us playing chess when other people are playing checkers. Like, as we continue to get more data points, as we continue to do this quarter after quarter after quarter, we're going to get smarter, we're going to identify more trends. Like, this is the kind of stuff that gets me excited. So if this is the kind of stuff that gets you excited too, hit that subscribe button, give us a thumbs up, drop a comment down below. We do so much more than just data dives, right? Like, we're talking about doing a booster box opening here in a short amount of time. I'm looking for feedback, so if there's something you want to see ripped, drop a comment down below. Right now, the early favorite is actually sleeved Evolving Skies booster packs, which I'm totally down for. Somebody said, hey, listen, instead of opening up a box, sleeve booster packs are still out there. Why don't you open some of those? Because those are things that, you know, we can go out and get ourselves. So I thought that was awesome. So if that ends up being the winner, I'll rip 40 of them and we can go from there. But listen, the other thing I want to say before we get into any kind of projection or prediction slides are, listen, this is very directional, okay? There's all kinds of macroeconomic and global political things going on right now. Any of it can derail the Pokemon market right now. So just understand that this is saying, hey, if everything stays steady Eddie, this is what the math suggests. And as we learned from the last one, listen, there are some things that we can take away that seem to hold true, but then there's also some surprises along the way. So we're going to get into that right now, and let's have a ton of fun while we do it. So we always start with the oldest sets here, and we're going to look at Sun and Moon. So Sun and Moon is up 15% over the last 15 months. Now, that's awesome, right? 15% gain over 15 months is absolutely awesome. The math is favoring it up. So when you look at these different columns, you'll see an upper confidence bound and a lower confidence bound. The upper confidence bound is saying, hey, we think over the next quarter it could go as high as positive 18%. The lower confidence bound is saying, or we think it could go down as far as 9%. So what we know is we looked at 24 sets over Q1, 12 from Sword and Shield, 12 from Sun and Moon, right? And 70% of those ended up within those upper and lower confidence bounds, which is really, really exciting. And I think it was 3 or 4 of them that were outside of the confidence bounds actually ended up to the positive. So when you think about it, really about 75-80% of these ended up right where we wanted to or better. So that's really exciting. Another thing that I wanted to talk about here is Sun and Moon and Sword and Shield. I don't really get why they are performing so differently. And by that, I mean Sword and Shield base set booster boxes are about $265, $285 right now. Sun and Moon is at $213. One of the things I talk about here is the star power or the card power or the name brand recognition in these sets. And, you know, when you look at Sun and Moon, you've got Lily, which is on fire for the Sun and Moon era. You got Umbreon, which is a top 10 Pokemon card, right? Like when we look at the grading reports, which we're going to do in a week, you see Umbreon's always in the top 5. And then when you look at Sword and Shield, you've got Marnie, and I love Marnie. Marnie reminds me of my youngest daughter, so I'm a Marnie fan, but you also have Snorlax. Like, the star power just doesn't seem to be there. So does that mean Sun and Moon is going to shoot up? Does that mean Sword and Shield is going to drop down? Does that mean that they're going to meet somewhere in the middle? I don't know. That's why we do these exercises, but I just think it's interesting to call out the different cards in these sets because I think that lends and gives us some idea of, hey, where might these go? And when we're looking at Scarlet and Violet and stuff like this, we should look at the star power of the cards in those booster boxes, and we should look at the way Sun and Moon and Sword and Shield has performed to give us an idea of what might happen playing chess when other people are playing checkers. All right, I'm off that soapbox. Then we look at Guardian Rising, right? Guardian Rising's been on fire, up 26% over the last 15 months. But what happened is you're going to see that the upper confidence bound says positive 25%, the lower confidence bound says negative 22%. That's because that 26% growth over the 15 months has been all over the place. It's been up and down and left and right and sideways. And so the math is saying, listen, this is a really volatile set, even though the growth has been there. We don't know what's going to happen over the next 3 months because a quarter is a relatively short amount of time. And the volatility over the last 15 months suggests it could go one way or the other. Guardian Risings, listen, I think it's a solid set. I think it's going to do okay simply because of its age. I don't think it's going to outperform the market. I think it might get market gains over the next quarter, but it's certainly not something I'm rushing into right now. Then you look at Burning Shadows. Okay, Burning Shadows is only up 4% over the last 15 months. But what I wanted to call out about Burning Shadows is look at the starting point. So when we look at these numbers, we can see January 2022 prices. Sun and Moon was at 185. Guardians Rising was at 261. Burning Shadows was all the way up at 356. So Burning Shadows had a much higher starting point when we look at this stuff. And that's because it's a Zard set, right? We always talk about Charizard's the big man. Charizard's the one who carries all the weight in the Pokemon space. So Burning Shadows already had a lot of future growth baked into it at that $356 mark. So it's grown a little bit. Listen, I'm not saying you shouldn't buy Burning Shadows. I think any, Charizard set, I think has value in it. Is it going to be your highest performer? Probably not, but is it going to be a good, solid set to have in your collection? Do I think that there's minimal downside risk? Absolutely. I think it's a solid buy. Again, if you're looking for huge gains like you see in some of these other sets, it might not be there because it's already baked in. But if you're looking for a solid one that's going to give you slow long-term growth and you think that has minimal downside risk, I certainly think Burning Shadows is something to consider. So, going into the next set, we have Crimson Invasion, Ultra Prism, and Forbidden Light. Listen, Crimson Invasion is only up 7.5% over the last 15 months. The math is saying, hey, it could go up 9, it could go down 9. We don't really know. It's got Lusamine and Gyarados, though. I mean, those are the anchor cards. Like, compared to other sets, it might be a little bit undervalued. Like, I know it was printed to the kilts. I got caught off guard because now I see a misspelled Crimson in there. Oh, well, we're going to roll with it. But for $169 for a set that's now going to be 2 eras old, right? Like you got Scarlet and Violet, you got Sword and Shield, and this is back in Sun and Moon. I don't think that's a bad buy. I think there's minimal downside risk. I don't see this dropping much lower than $169. So if you're looking for something to spend some money on, just to add to your collection, which you think, again, just like the last set, might give you some long-term slower growth, but has low downside potential, I think Crimson Invasion is a decent buy. Ultra Prism, up almost 25% over the last 15 months, absolutely crushing it. Here we see green. Now, green is where we talk about lower confidence bound and upper confidence bound. Both are positive, right? Compare Ultra Prism to Crimson Invasion. Crimson Invasion says it could go down 9%, could go up 9%. Here in Ultra Prism, it says even in the worst case scenario, the math is suggesting it's still going to go up 4%. In the best case scenario, it says it could go up 11%. What we learned from our Q1 numbers was that green sets, no surprise, outperform all of the other ones. And green sets where we have a much higher top 20 average card cost versus booster box price, those were the real winners. So we're going to owe you a video on that one and look at that in a minute. But just know green sets tend to do really, really well. This set also has a Lily trainer card in it, which is absolutely on fire out of the whole Sun and Moon era. That is one of the top cards out there. It's got a Cynthia card. That Lusamine full art trainer card is just absolutely crazy. I love it. It's a little dark. It's a little different, and it just hits differently. I think that is a card. I think Ultra Prism as a set as a whole is going to do well in the long run, and the math obviously suggests that as well with it being a green representation here. Forbidden Light, we don't say this very often, but it's down 11% over the last 15 months. In the middle of a bull market, Forbidden Light has just been kicked in the shins over and over again. The big Lucario, Greninja, Palkia, I don't know what the big chase cards are in this set. Unfortunately, there just aren't many, and the market is reflecting that by not investing in it. None of those cards are in the top 10 when we look at the grading report. So again, this is information that we can use as we look at newer sets as they come out to give us some idea of, where we should be spending our money, older sets, newer sets, etc., etc. So Forbidden Light, math is saying, hey, it could go up 9%, it could go down 5%. To me, I say it's going to be flat. Maybe it'll continue the downward trend. We shall see, but it is not a place PikiPikaPapa is putting his money right now. Next, Celestial Storm, Lost Thunder team up. Again, we start to get into the later half of this era, and this is where we start seeing green all over the place. Celestial Storm has been on absolute fire, up 28% over the last 15 months. It's favored up. Listen, it's got Lisa, it's got Rayquaza, it's got huge names in there, but my question is the big run already baked in? It's already at $524 a booster box. Is all of the upside potential already baked in? Kind of like what we saw with Burning Shadows when we looked at that from a Zard set perspective. I don't know. The math sure thinks it's got room to run, upper confidence bound of positive 10%, lower confidence bound of positive 5%. Again, statistically speaking, it has proven that this is a set where you could actually gain some money over the next quarter. We shall see. Then we get into Lost Thunder, another green, not quite as aggressive, right? This only has an upper confidence bound of 6%, lower confidence bound of positive 3%, versus 10 and 5% in Celestial Storm. But Lost Thunder, hey, it's up 18% over the last 15 months. It doesn't have a big trainer. Lugia is the headliner. Again, this is another one where I keep looking at it and I'm like, is it already priced in? Is it already priced right? I know the math loves it, but again, 3% over a quarter. Good returns. I mean, annualized, that's an amazing return. But compared to some of these other sets, it might not be your biggest return in regards to where you can see some huge growth. Team Up, on the other hand, Team Up, I can't believe I'm about to say this, up 41% over the last 15 months. Now, we know Team Up was short printed. It's got that really cool Latia and Latios love card where their heads are shaped like a heart. That is just a really cool card of this whole era. We see these Team Up cards where you have all Gengar's a big one in this one. There's some awesome combos. That Magikarp and Whale Lord card. I mean, there's just some awesome cards in Team Up. So it's not just it being short printed. It also has some big name power. It also has some really cool art in it. For me personally, I don't know. Is it like $1,000 big? Like, you can do a lot of stuff in the Pokemon market with $1,000. So even if I had $1,200, $1,500 right now, because that's what I think this set is going to end up at. Like, if you want to buy one tomorrow, I think you're going to have to spend $1,400 to $1,700 to get it. For me personally, even though I think this set is awesome, I think there's other opportunities where I would spend the money. But Team Up, I think, is going to continue to do well. As I spoke about in my last video, I think the last 2 sales were already at $1,400. The lowest one priced on TCG Player right now is $1,700. So Team Up is going to go up. I have no doubt at all. Next one's right here. Unbroken Bonds, Unified Minds, and Cosmic Eclipse. Unbroken Bonds is the one where in all of Q1, it performed completely the opposite of what the math suggested. The math was all in on Unbroken Bonds. It said Unbroken Bonds is going to do great. And guess what? It did not do well in Q1. Now, it's still up 8% over the last 15 months. Again, the math loves it. The math is saying, hey, no matter what, we think at the worst case scenario, it's going to go up 1%. Best case scenario, it's going to go up 17. Is it going to fool me again? I don't know. It's got some Zard combos in there. It's got Blastoise. It's got it's got lots of big name cards in there. So it certainly has the potential to go up. But again, burn me once. Are you going to burn me again? This might be one where I sit on the sidelines for another quarter and just kind of see how it shakes out. Is it going to be the next Forbidden Light where it continues to go down? I don't know. We shall see. But Unbroken Bonds, I'm not touching it. The math sure loves it. It's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. Gosh, I wish I could just fast forward a quarter and see where it all ends up. Unified Minds, hey, this is another one where it's saying, hey, it could be flat or it could go up 10%. It's been up almost 23% over the last 15 months, so that's really, really good. Really good gains. You know, it's as close to green as you can get. It's got that Misty card, which is awesome. It's got Mew in there. It's got those Psyduck cards, the Sableye. The Psyduck and Sableye cards are just awesome. I love the artwork on them. I think they're beautiful. Mew's a big headliner, right? Mew is always in the top 3 or 4 when it comes to cards that are graded. That Misty card is super cute. It's got the hearts on it and everything. Anyways, I think Unified Minds has a lot of upside potential in it. I think that it's got the star power, the card power to continue to do well. And then we're finishing off with Cosmic Eclipse. It is interesting to me to see it's a positive and a negative. Like, for whatever reason, it's not getting a lot of math love. It's up 15% over the last 15 months. It says it could go down 1%. It could go up 3%. This is one of the tightest upper and lower confidence bounds that we've seen. So this is one of the ones where I'm extremely excited to see how it shakes out, to see how accurate this math and this projection model really is. Cosmic Eclipse, I can't wait to see where you're at 3 months from now. It's got some Zards in it. It's got a Rosa. It's got trainer combos. It's the newest Sun and Moon set. It's got that secret Pikachu card in there with red on it, which I absolutely love. I've been hunting that card for 3 months. I just haven't found the right opportunity to buy it, but that will be in my collection at some point. So Cosmic Eclipse is looking good. Hey, listen, everybody, we're going to be doing a couple more Scarlet and Violet set videos here relatively soon. We're going to be doing that opening. We've got some graded card reports coming out. I've got some cards coming back from PSA. I'm telling you all of this to say we've got a lot of really cool stuff on the horizon for this channel. So if you made it all the way through this video and you haven't hit the subscription button yet, hit that subscribe button. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what booster box you guys would like for me to open or what sleeve booster packs you'd love to see me rip. I am excited to do that. I'm excited to get some hands on it and just have a ton of fun with you guys. I appreciate you all more than you know. You guys have an epic one, and I'll talk to you later. Thank you. Bye.